Mr. Fritz, you state that over the last 30 years, you have searched to find your biological daughter, who you claim was taken from you as a child. However, just 4 months ago, this 3-decade search came to an end when you found Miss Agee, whom you believe to be your daughter, on Facebook. You're now petitioning the court to prove that you are indeed her biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct.
Ms. Agee, you say you know exactly who your biological father is and have come to court today to prove once and for all to Mr. Fritz that he is not your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Agee, why are you so adamant that Mr. Fritz is not your biological father?
Well, first off, Your Honor, he's not on my birth certificate. The guy that's on my birth certificate was not my biological father. He was married to my mother when I was born, but I do know who my biological father is. I was about 8 or 9 years old. I started asking questions about who my real father was, and my grandmother was the one who raised me. She told me my biological father was Buster. That's the only person she knew as my biological father. About 11 years old, I was sitting in the living room floor, watching cartoons. A knock come on the door. I went to the door, and it was Buster. At the time, I didn't know it was my father. He asked me, was that Angel? I was like, yes. He was like, is your grandmother at home? I said, yes, she's asleep right now. Later on that afternoon, he come by like 3 times. I had went swimming for the day. So the last time that I was at home, he come by, and I met him. I spent a couple hours with him. He told me he was my dad. You know, he was excited to see me. He was going to be in my life. Well, I didn't see him after that. I think I was 11 years old. He called, and he wanted to be in my life. And I was like, okay, you know, that's fine with me. I had a Christmas play the next day. And he said he was going to come and, you know, come to our Christmas play and, you know, want to be part of my life. I said, that's fine. He didn't show up. I was hurt. My biological father wasn't around. He wasn't in my life. So that hurt me.
And you always believed that that man was your biological father?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you ever try to contact him again?
I did. I was 17 when I had my first child. I got married, and I was pregnant with my second child when I was 18. And I wanted to look for him because I was going to let him know that he has a daughter out here that, you know, have one grandbaby, and he's going to have another grandbaby. And I just wanted him to be a part of my my kid's life. I wanted a relationship with my dad. I wanted my kids to know their grandfather. You know, I wanted that in my life. We went to his house, his sister's house, talked with her. I got pictures of him, you know, but she said that if he's my dad, he will contact me. And I haven't heard from him since, and I'm 35.
He ain't
So,
contacted
Mr.
because I'm your
Fritz.
father. That's the reason he ain't
You
called.
say you're my dad, but if you're my dad, then you would have come looking for me. You say you come looking for me, but obviously you didn't come looking for me because I live in Thomasville, a little town that you can find me. You found me when I was already married under my married name. You didn't find me under my maiden name. My maiden name, you couldn't find me. I live in a small town. I can go in the middle of the town and scream out Danny Fritz, and they're going to hear me. You didn't come looking for me because if you did, you would have found me.
I looked for you for 30 years, Angel.
If you did, you would have found me.
Tell me about this 30-year search and why you strongly believe you are Miss Agee's biological father.
I got sentenced and incarcerated, and when I was being moved from one camp to another, I met a friend of mine. I said, hey, man, when you get it back in town, would you run by and let Angel's family know that I've been transferred and where I was going to come see me. After 3 months, I escaped from the penitentiary to go see my daughter, and at 2 months old, I went and seen my daughter. And
I don't remember that. I don't remember any of that.
you might remember these pictures right here.
What are those pictures of, sir?
That's a picture of Angel sitting on my father's lap and a picture of her sitting with my mother and father when she was
May I see those pictures?
2 years old.
These are pictures of a baby that you say is Miss Agee sitting on your father's lap.
Yes, ma'am. Ask her if that's her. She
That is me.
picture.
That is me, but I don't have any recollection of this. I don't.
You acknowledge, Miss Agee, that that's you.
That's me. That's me.
When those pictures were taken, she's about 3 years old. She come down and stay with me, and I was working. And
I don't recall that. I remember my grandmother. I remember staying
and
with my grandmother.
you may not
him.
remember it. Now, you know, it has been a long time. Actually, you stayed with me for 5 weeks, and they called up and says, we're going to go and visit one of your family members and wanted you to ride with. And I said, that's no problem. They come and picked you up. I came down there to get you.
that.
And when I came there, the trailer was empty. I went and knocked on all the neighbors' doors. Everyone says, we don't know. They move. We don't know where they're at.
I'm telling you, if you wanted to find me, you could have found me.
Well, I tried and I couldn't find you.
When you say you tried, Mr. Fritz, how did you look for her?
Okay,
you
when I went,
knocked on the door and
I went down there to find her. When I got there, the trailer was empty where she lived at, okay? So I went to the neighbor's house. They said, yeah, they moved, but they didn't know where. I went to all the neighbors' houses. No one knew where they had moved to.
If you want to find your daughter, you will not stop. I don't care what anybody says. If my kids are out there and I want to find my kids, I'm going to find them, regardless.
I didn't stop.
Regardless, I'm going to find them.
What was your next move?
Very next move, I went to the courthouse. I went to the courthouse, started searching records. I looked under her family's name. I looked under the name that I knew she was carrying, which was Dial. I looked under that name, and there was nothing in the court records. When I went up there and couldn't find you through your court records and stuff, I went back to the house. I regrouped. Every time I went to visit my family, and that where she lives at, when I went to find them, we would go and look for you.
I don't believe it. Because Thomasville's a little town. I'm telling you, people talk. People know people in Thomasville. I'm sorry. You're going to know. I don't need a dad now. I needed one then. When I was growing up, I needed a dad in my family.
Are you going to do all the talking?
I needed that.
Let me talk.
I'm telling you how I feel.
Well, let me tell you how I feel.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Take me back to the day you found her.
The day that I met her, I was sitting at the house. I was on Facebook, and I just started messing with it. I started looking at relatives, this name, this name, this name. Shauna Angel. That's the name that come up with the numbers of the people I was looking at. And I said, if this is Angel, I says, this is Danny Fritz, please contact me.
You contacted me on Facebook. We were talking.
Right.
I thought you was an old school friend because I didn't even know you were my dad.
Right.
I didn't recognize the name. And then I was shocked. I didn't know what to think because here you are. I'm 35 years old and you're telling me you're my dad? I'm not. What am I supposed to think?
Well, I'm here today to show you that I am your dad.
And I don't know how you got
and
my
from this
phone
point
number,
on, I'm going to do anything at all that you want me to do to help you in your life and your children's life.
You say that, but...
I think I've been showing you that, Angel.
No, you haven't.
All right, so Mr. Fritz, you see her and you find her. What has the relationship been like since then?
Well, it started out pretty good. You know, the first day that we talked, she told me she was stressed. I said, what's going on? And she says, my baby daughter is going out for cheerleading. I don't have enough money to get her a cheerleading outfit. I said, all right. She goes, I need $50. I said, let me call you back.
I didn't ask you for any money.
Let me see. No, you didn't. You didn't ask me for no money. I said, let me see what I can do. I said, I'll call you back. I talked to my wife. My wife said, look, that's your daughter, man. I said, all right, you're right. I sent her the $50 for the cheerleading outfit. When I did go to Thomasville and met my grandchildren, and I said, that must be the cheerleader. Angel bowed her head, and she goes,
I didn't know such. I didn't know such.
I'm not cheerleading yet. It's going to be a year. But, you know, I spent $50. I sent her to her to get a cheerleading outfit.
And if you would have talked to me about it and you would have had contact with me after that, I could have told you what happened.
I got a phone that's got over 200
So, Miss Agee,
text
I have to ask you
money.
because it's...
That's a lot.
I have to ask you, Miss Agee. Miss Agee.
Yes, Your Honor.
If you do not believe he's your biological father,
Yes, Your Honor.
why are you so angry at him?
I'm angry because he says he is my dad. If he is my dad, why wasn't you there? I needed a dad when I was younger. I'm 35 years old now. I've lived my life. I'm living my kid, you know, I'm with my kids now. I'm living my life for my kids. And then he wants to pop up 35 years later and say he's my dad?
The anger that you feel, it's almost counterintuitive. It's I know this man is not my father because I know who my father is.
But then I have a gentleman telling me that he is my father. If he's my dad, why wasn't he there? Why didn't he look for me hard enough to find me? When a guy that's supposed to be my biological dad found me.
And do you understand that the circumstances that led to one man finding you there could be a separate set of circumstances that were presented to him in his search? Or maybe there were ways that he could have searched harder or deeper. Regardless of that, it doesn't change the fact that he got on Facebook
and found me under my married name. I don't understand that.
It proves that he was still looking for you.
Right.
And then you stated in court, this man that you said found you, the one that you believe is your biological father, he then says to you, I'm going to show up at your Christmas play never showed.
Exactly, you're right. I've been hurt. I've been hurt by the guy that said he's
There
my dad.
we go.
I didn't have a mom in my life, and I didn't have a dad. My grandmother raised me. She passed away when I was 16. I've been on my own ever since, and I've made it in this world.
Are you just fearful to be hurt again? For another man to say, I'm your dad, you matter to me, and then the next thing you know, they're not there.
Exactly, you're right.
Okay.
That
I've
ain't
been hurt
gonna
enough
happen,
in my
man.
life, and I don't want to be hurt
You ain't gonna be
anymore.
by yourself no more. I'm gonna tell you that. And I love you, and you know that, Angel. Since the first day I got back with you and found you, I told you I would never hurt you, and I love you. And I'll tell you what, the love I got in my heart never gonna go away, and you're never gonna be alone. I'm here to help you. I'm here to be your daddy.
But you're putting out there that I asked you for money. I didn't ask you for no money. I told you what was going on. And if you would have contacted me and asked me questions, I would have told you what went on.
But Miss Agee, you don't
did.
have to ask your father or a man that believes he's your father for the money. He heard you had a need, and
But
his
he's making a big
belief
deal
that
about it.
he's
If he
your...
would've
I'm not making a
asked me-
big
No,
deal
he
about
wasn't
it.
making a big deal about it. What he was trying to show is, as much as I may have not been there for her, for whatever the circumstances, his point was just to say, I'm there. I was trying to give of myself. Mr. Fritz, your compassion towards Miss Agee it's remarkable, it's refreshing. And I have to say, whether you are or you are not her biological father, I can see that this relationship means everything to you.
It does, Your Honor.
Do you have any other children?
No, ma'am.
So the stakes, they're very high.
I really honestly do believe, and I gave us a lot of thought since I found you. I'm thinking that God knew I wasn't ready. God was there. God says, well, you know, you're still in this motorcycle club, and you're still doing this, that, and the other. There's no sense in God bringing you and me together because the only thing I'm going to do is hurt you. When I got out of the motorcycle club and I started getting more prayer in, God brought me to the Facebook page that found you.
Wow.
And it breaks my heart to see you over trying.
I'm just mad. I'm hurt. I'm mad and I'm hurt.
You could
I
be
don't know
mad at
what
me all you
believe.
want to, and I want you to be. I want you to get it all out of your system because when it's gone, then it's going to be filled with love.
Exactly.
We're going to change that
Mr.
and have
Fritz,
some love.
you have to understand that there, of course, is a lot on the line for you because you want to know the answer. And yet it's different for Ms. Agee.
Yes, ma'am.
Because in your heart and your mind, you believe it and you know it for certain.
Absolutely.
In her mind and heart, she was told another man was her father. He let her down. She's got to put herself out there again. And there is a risk here for her that she's setting herself up to be let down
She
again,
won't be let
to be
down.
hurt again.
Exactly.
She won't be let down. I don't care what that piece of paper says. She's not going to be let down. I'm going to be here until the day they put me in the ground. I'm going to do whatever I can to help her.
And
even
while
if
you
she is or
don't
not.
care what the paper says, when I look into her eyes and I hear her testimony, she admitted, I have fear. I have fear. I
That's
do not
understandable.
want to go through this again.
That's understandable. I can understand. I simply
Like
know
I
that.
said, I've been hurt my whole life.
I'm not going to hurt you.
You
baby.
wasn't there.
Ms. Agee, on one hand, you say, I had my grandmother. She raised me. She gave me all I need. I don't need him for anything. I don't want to be hurt
I didn't have a
again.
dad growing up. I didn't have a mom growing up. I had a grandmother that was my mom.
An amazing
Yes.
grandmother.
Yes.
So on the
Very
one
good.
hand, I
Yep.
hear you say this. On the other hand, I hear you say, I didn't have a father.
Exactly.
And I want my children to have the
I want-
knowledge of who their grandfather is
Yes.
and the love. Both of those things are kind of on opposite sides of a
Exactly.
coin. And I understand that you're conflicted.
Because I
so
want
I
a
have
father.
to ask you, do you want me to read you these results?
I do.
Because I have them.
I do, because I definitely want to know where I came from. I want to know who my dad is. And if he is my dad, I want him to walk me down the aisle when I get married.
And you have prepared yourself either way.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I'll walk you anywhere you want to go,
Jerome,
Angel.
I'm ready
I'll
for
take
the
care of you.
envelope.
I love you with all my heart. And I know that paper's going to say I'm your daddy.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows.
Lord, please be with us now.
In the case of Fritz versus Agee, pertaining to 35-year-old Shauna Agee,
Come on.
as to whether Mr. Russell Fritz is her biological father, it has been determined by this court.
I am her
Mr.
daddy.
Fritz, you are her father.
Yes!
That's what I'm talking about. I love you so much, baby. I'm so sorry.
You can't be that mean and not be my youngin'.
I love you so much, baby girl.
This is just so beautiful.
That's beautiful right there, man. You just made my whole life.
Oh, now I'm gonna cry. Oh, it's just too good, isn't it, Jerome? It's just too good.
Oh,
I don't even want to adjourn court. I just want to sit here and watch them hug.
Thank you, Jesus.
Absolutely.
This moment is why we exist, to provide this moment.
Hallelujah.
And honestly, I
I have a dad now for 35 years. I have a dad.
Oh,
You
my God.
do. You do.
It sounds weird saying that, but I have a dad.
Mr. Watson, you are in court to prove that you are not the biological father of the defendant's 4-year-old son, Kevin. You say that while you were away, Ms. Mahoney was having sexual relationships with 2 different men, and either of them could be the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Mahoney, you say you are 99.999% sure that Mr. Watson is the father and deny his accusations of infidelity. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Watson, you say today's results will determine the future of your relationship.
Yes, Your Honor, it will. I've known her since we were kids. We need to get these results because, you know, we are engaged and I would like to marry her, and I really hope this is my son.
And you say the relationship's on the line, meaning if the results don't turn out the way you would like, the relationship, the marriage, everything?
It's out the window, Your Honor. It's over with.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Mahoney, how is this paternity doubt affecting your child?
Hard. He takes it hard. He looks up to him a lot. Sometimes he gets real short-tempered with him, and he just like he'll sit by him and he'll move away, and it's hard as a mother to see that.
And Kevin's 4, so he understands this rejection.
Yeah, it takes him really hard. He's sheltered now.
And so, Mr. Watson, you are rejecting the child?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm not the dad, that's why. When I was away, when I came back, she was cheating, and she has a bad reputation of being basically, as I'm gonna say it, the neighborhood hoe.
Okay, we're gonna try to use respectful language, but you let's say she had a reputation of being very promiscuous.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and so you were away and you came home. What did you find when you came home?
She had 2 men staying with her, and they were showering her with gifts and taking care of her. Now, me as a man personally, I'm not gonna do that for no woman.
Being a man, though, you should have left me.
I never left.
Miss Mahoney, did you have 2 men living with you?
Yes, ma'am.
You did?
I had no job. I had nothing to fend for myself. They were close family friends, and they just wanted to help
No,
me
they weren't.
help them. I agreed to let them stay, and if I needed some toilet paper down, anything, they would help provide it.
And so were you providing them with anything besides a
room,
place to stay?
a bedroom. That was it. I would not.
Mr. Watson, you're shaking your head. You don't believe that?
They were not close family friends. That's not true, Your Honor.
I've known them since I was 13.
That ain't no family friend. 13, nothing.
So did you ever ask him, are you sleeping with?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
And what was his response?
He said yes.
There's been many girls doing it to the same. We have a problem where there's lots of people that were in our life trying to split us up.
So he said he was having sex with Miss Mahoney?
Yes.
You confronted her about that?
Yes, multiple times.
What
And
did
when
she
I
say?
asked him, I told him we can go together in front of this person and ask them, and he doesn't
But
want
when
to
I say let's go in front of him, she never does.
He doesn't want to do that. He
not
stalls out.
That's not true.
Our family is on the line, and I just hope we have
So why would
closure.
that other guy say he's the father? He
There's
always
a difference
says,
between a
that's
father
my
and a
son.
dad.
That's
Just
my
know
son."
that.
What you mean? He the one talking about that. That's his kid.
He provided for him.
Okay, I was away. I couldn't.
When I called you and he was hungry, then what?
I was away. There was nothing I could do.
Like I said, there's a difference between being a father
Okay, so
and
if he was my kid, so bring other men around my kid?
Mr. Watson, I do want to make a clarification. Did he say he was the biological father, or did this man say he was stepping up to be a father?
No, he said
Pretty
that.
much, Your
no,
Honor.
He said that
takes
was.
it how he wants.
He said that was his kid, and that he's in love with her, and that's his girl. He always says that. Even to this day, he says that, Your Honor.
It is true. He has said he loves me and he's in love with me. But like I said, I cannot control somebody else's feelings. And as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as a woman to my family, there's no reason. None. And I'm just so ready to get all this
Miss
bad water
Mahoney,
out.
why would a guy say to you,
I believe he probably does love me, but I don't love him and I needed help and all he wanted was a room. And that's all.
but why would he say you were having sex with him if you weren't?
Because he knows that if he were to tell him that he's gonna walk out and he's gonna leave me. And that's what happened.
So you're saying he's just saying that to break you apart?
And I'll be crying, upset, and he'll try to, cover me, and I don't want that, and I don't want anybody else but Heaven.
It was basically crazy, and like her friend, her and her friend fell out, and the friend called me one day and was like, I want to tell you everything, and she basically told me everything, how she was.
What she did was lie to you because you and her had sexual intercourse.
No.
Did you not?
No, we did not.
No, that did not happen?
No. We did not have sex.
What did her friend tell you, Mr. Watson?
The friend told me how she was sleeping with multiple men, plus the two staying with her, and how men were crawling through the window at late at night, get them
But it's
little
my
midnight
house, so why
snack.
would I have to have somebody crawl through a window?
And this is what her former friend told you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because I just found out they had sexual intercourse under a bridge, okay? Under a bridge.
Did you have sex with this friend, Mr.
Don't
Watson?
lie.
No, Your Honor, no, I did not.
Not sex. What did she do? Be honest, because this is our chance to clear our water and make our family either complete or separate.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman in any kind.
We've heard that before.
Right.
Was there sexual contact?
Yes, Your Honor.
So how can you not expect this woman to do that?
Because that was her best friend. That was her ride or die. They were together every day of the minute. Why? Who doesn't tell their
So
best
you
friend
felt like
secrets?
she gave you the inside scoop?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then she wanted to get close to you, but she gave you a scoop, all right?
Right.
So when you found out Miss Mahoney was pregnant, what happened then? You found out you were pregnant?
I found out I was pregnant, and it was kind of a little iffy at first, but he switched, and he's like, no, you had these men here. I know you were sleeping with them, your best friend, and that's around the time I found out what had happened between them. He just was really upset and told me I couldn't name him a junior, so I came Kevin. That's really close, and that I had been sleeping with him, and they're his kids. So I went, and we got DNA.
You took a DNA test?
Yes, ma'am.
What happened?
I went and was on government assistance and child support. We have to comply with them. And they asked me who the father was. I told them who he was. And he ran from all the things. And finally, they found him and had him go up there and take the DNA.
What did the DNA test say?
99.9%.
That Mr. Watson was Kevin's biological father.
Yes, ma'am. And the state put him on that birth certificate.
Did you bring that test result with you?
No, I didn't.
Mr. Watson, why don't you believe those results?
I even posted it on Facebook.
Because first of all, Your Honor, her friend forged papers. When she walked up showing me these papers, first of all, I didn't see no government stamp on it. And when she showed me it, quote me on this if I'm wrong, when I read it, it read like 99
of the black population.
Of the black
that
population.
That was my response. Of the black population in America, that he's 99. I'm sorry.
And that DNA took about 7-8 months just to get here, and there was no
like I
seal,
said,
and I
It
didn't
took
see
7-8 months.
They couldn't find him to get his DNA, and they already
So
had ours.
you believe she forged these results?
Yes, ma'am.
So when this court contacted your home state, because we do our investigation as well,
Yes, ma'am.
we wanted to find out how long it should take to get results. And we were told that it takes about 2 weeks to 1 month. So Ms. Mahoney, why would it take 7 months to get these results?
I don't know why, and we were together, and they showed up
If you're confident, why wouldn't you take a sealed envelope to Mr. Watson and say, this is the paperwork?
But, Your Honor, we have been through so much and spent so much in our life. I never expected him to think of me that low.
I
to
would
do
never
that.
do
That's
that,
low
but-
of a person.
So you never thought he would question paternity?
Ever. They're documented government papers.
When your friend's forging papers, what do you want me to do?
My friend, she forged DNA documents when we were younger. And it was real. It looked real. So, I mean, I understand, you know, the fact that and that would be in my mind as well. But it's just, I want to get this done, and I want the results and our family to be happy.
So, Mr. Watson, this is a little bit too close to home for you.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have a witness. I'd like to hear from her. Please stand, ma'am. State your name for the record.
Yolanda Watson.
Ms. Watson, you are what relation to Mr. Watson?
It's Heaven's mother.
You are his mother.
Yes, ma'am.
So, ma'am, you've heard the testimony that we have presented thus far.
Yes.
What can you tell us about this situation?
Well, I heard the rumors when it first came about. I'm confused also what all has been said and what's all going on. But
Did you ever hear this information about papers being forged,
Yeah.
DNA papers? You've
Yes,
heard that?
yes,
She
ma'am.
knew her too.
Yes, ma'am. And I did not care for her.
Do you believe that biologically Kevin is your grandson?
I am now questioning more and more. That's never been in my heart before, and it is now. And it's really bothering me.
Thank you so much for your testimony, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ms. Mahoney,
Yes, Your Honor.
you say this relationship is on the line now,
It's been more than on the line.
that everything is riding on these results.
And I want to marry him, and I want to have a future, and I want our son to be happy. But we fight all the time over this. And he loves his dad, and I know he loves him. And I
For
want
4 years, this has been hanging over your head?
all the time.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything. We could be mad about our sandwich was cold, and we're gonna end up fighting about this. There's a lot of bad water under our bridge. And we were young. We've done a lot of things, you know, to each other that we're not proud of. But I want it to be over with now. I want to move on. I want the answers.
There's no way to clear the water under the bridge
That's why
unless
I'm
you
here.
tell the truth.
That's why I'm here.
Is there something you have not said? Is there another man that could potentially be Kevin's biological father?
No, ma'am. And
Are there any other men?
No, ma'am. We have broken up, and I've had other, you know, relationships with men, but never around when I got pregnant.
How close in proximity to Kevin's conception did you have relationships with other men?
It was after, Your Honor.
Not true.
It was
After he was born or after
It was
you were
after
pregnant?
he was born, and he was already probably about 2 years old.
Get
Right.
out of here.
I
man.
mean, but
Not gonna argue.
you're right. I'm not either. I don't want to argue. We've done 4 years of arguing. I want to know where to go from here, what to do. Our family is on the line.
So, Mr. Watson, do you want to make this work if Kevin is your biological child?
Yes, Your Honor.
You want to make this family work?
Yes, of course. I love this
And
woman.
if he's not,
I don't know. I don't know. Everything's just, it's,
Be honest, you're going to leave.
yeah, I'm gonna leave.
We'll never see you again. So from 5th, like we never had anything. Can't just walk out on somebody like that.
I think there's so much at stake here. We can't wait a moment longer.
Please, Your Honor, I'm ready.
Let's get these results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Watson versus Mahoney, when it comes to 4-year-old Kevin Watson, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Watson, you are the father.
See? I love you. I love you so much.
I'm sorry, baby. I love you. I love you so much. I love you. I'm sorry, baby.
I know. It's okay. It's okay. I love you. I love you guys too. Okay.
I'm better now.
You relieved, Mr. Watson?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we go home and get married now?
Yes, we can.
Listen, it can be better, but you have to do the work.
That's why we're here.
Right. I was just about to say, Ms. Mahoney, and you're so correct. This was the first step. It took you 4 years to get here, to just get clarity from a situation that's been hanging over your head and destroying your lives.
It's been so
And not
hard.
just your life, Kevin's life.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make that way better. I'm gonna step up.
Yes.
Swear to God.
Yes.